Hello, friends. Welcome to day 2 of the Escaping the Matrix retreats. I'm so excited to have you here with me for this session. It's going to be a fun one. We're going to dive into minimalism and beginning the process of disconnecting. So, we talked yesterday about digital minimalism and how we can really mitigate how much time and energy our devices and the digital world is sucking away our energy. We can really mitigate that. We can create a healthier relationship with our digital devices. But today we're going to be talking about how to start on your minimalist journey, how to use it as a tool in your quiver, in your toolkit, to help you reconnect on a deeper level and establish a non-consumerist mindset. So when I began my minimalist journey, it was quite a big leap. It felt like I was kind of diving into the deep end, unsure what I was doing, and kind of consuming a lot of different content. And there's a lot of content out there these days online, like articles, YouTubers, you name it, all kinds of clickbaity stuff out there about giving away everything you own, selling everything you own, living with no furniture, whatever. But we can actually use minimalism as more of a mindset and a guide rather than something that's a hard and fast rule that we must adhere to. We must copy the exact way someone else uses it. And I want to encourage you to use this little talk here that we're going to have together as a jumping off point to investigate it further. You can use minimalism in so many different ways, and it's really personal to you. It's customizable to you. I just released on Rewildest Life I think it's 7 parts. I'm pretty sure it's a 7-part series. It's either 7 or 8 parts. And it goes through all the steps of minimalism and how to create like a reconnective journey. And each video is really in-depth, very value-packed. Each one tackles a different topic, and that's all available to you inside the Rewildest Life platform. So make sure you check that out if you have a chance to do so, because it's a really comprehensive journey. But when we start to look at, I just want to pause to say, hey, everybody. Hi, Sean. Hi, Jonathan, Jade, Abby. It's great to see you all. I'm so glad you guys are here with me today. So when we start minimalism, let's think of it less as something that we're just trying to get rid of as much stuff as possible, and more of something that we're using as a tool to help us strip away all the noise, all the clutter, and help us reconnect with ourselves on a deeper level, right? So that's what we did yesterday, talking about digital devices. Now, how can we look at what's around us in our homes, what we use on a daily basis, our clothing, all the stuff that we have, and ask ourselves, is it serving us in our journey? Is it bringing us toward deeper connection? Or is it becoming something that we're treating as a benchmark or as something that we need to identify with? So often we identify with our stuff. We identify with what car we drive. We identify with, like, the size of our home or where we live, or, material things. And just as we touched on yesterday, that's what the whole corporate industry that serves us ads all the time online. All the ads we scroll past are always about, oh, buy this thing and it will add to your life. The more material things you have, the better off you'll be, right? But so often, the more things we have, the more bogged down we get, the less space we have, not just mentally, but physically. So it's clutter for our minds, it's clutter for our physical space, and we become more and more disconnected. As we base our value more and more off of the material things we have, we lose sight of who we really are on an emotional level, on a spiritual level. So, this is where we get to start to shift our mindset from how much can I own to what is actually bringing value to my life? What is actually bringing value into my daily life, into my daily practice? And oftentimes we'll find that it's very few things. And that's kind of exciting because there's some saying, and I can't remember who said it, but it's like it went something like, a man is richest by what he can live without. And that's so profound when you think about it. One of you might know who said that because it's a very famous quote and it's on the tip of my tongue who said it, but I can't remember. But what we're saying in essence there is you're richer for not needing all this stuff. It honestly puts us in a more weakened state of life when we need so many material things in order to be happy. Because that's the message that the world is constantly serving us. Oh, if you have this, then you'll be happy. If you have buy these things or drive this car or live in this location, then you'll be happy. But that's not the case, is it? Because we can go and do all those things. We can buy more and more stuff and we still won't be happy, because what we need to do is we need to reconnect with who we really are, who we are on an emotional level, a spiritual level. We need to reconnect with that. And minimalism can be a great way to help strip away like those layers of the onion. I like to think of it as like all the junk, all the noise, all the overstimulation around us, the need to have to possess so much stuff that might even be bogging us down in a negative way. We can actually let go of that. We can uncurl the fingers. We can release this need to attach our identity to material objects. Because as a sacred being, you can never be defined by material objects. See, this is the matrix we need to step out of. We need to awaken, we need to open our eyes, and we need to step out. Because we are not defined by material objects. That's not who we are. We are something beyond all of that. I always like to think of, if you woke up somewhere with like amnesia, which, scary thought, but just hang with me. You woke up somewhere in a completely different place with none of the things you own. Maybe you couldn't even remember your own name. So none of that, you would have no memory of owning anything or where you lived or any of it, but yet you would have pure consciousness and you would still be who you are, which proves that we are so much more. Without all this material stuff, we are still us. We are still us without all the things we've accumulated. We have a sacred identity that runs much deeper than the things that we've accumulated over our lives. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with owning things. As you can see, I own things in the background. I'm sitting in my house. But when we become so focused on our happiness being derived from things, it can trap us inside of this matrix of always needing more and more and more, whether it's more technology, more stimulation, more vacations, more exciting events happening in our lives. We can begin to compare our lives with other people's lives and be down on ourselves. Negative thoughts can come up. It can create negative habits in our lives. So when we practice minimalism, it allows us to look at our lives through a more mindful lens, a lens that puts us more in tune with our actual needs. And let's face it, our wants and our needs are two very different things. Sometimes we want things that aren't even good for us. Sometimes we want things that aren't actually what we need. How often have, I know I can think of many times in the past, excuse me, where I wanted something so badly that I thought would bring me joy or happiness. And I worked towards getting that, worked towards getting that. But then when I arrived at that event or that place where I got that thing and I wasn't happy, and it's such a letdown because you see all that work, all that energy was a waste because what we needed to be happy was already inside of us. We can begin to strip away those layers. We can begin to release the need to chase after things, just as we took a step back from digital devices. And I encourage you to do so. If you haven't tried the phone cleanse, try it. And then start to ask yourself, how can I step back from the need to mimic these societal avatars that have been put in place, that I have been conditioned to follow? That's what it is. We have these avatars in society that it's like, you should follow this life path. You should follow this trend. This is what everyone's doing. Everyone's following this path. You should do this. You should accumulate this. This will make you happy to do this. And we just march down the road, often without thinking about it. And that's why I like to use minimalism and mindfulness almost interchangeably, even though the definitions are slightly different. You really can't have a good minimalist practice without mindfulness. Because if we're just practicing minimalism to get rid of everything we own and film a fun video about it and try to get a lot of views, we're missing the whole point. We're missing the whole point. Minimalism is about mindfully viewing our lives in such a way that is going to help us break into a new realm of existence where we're not being ruled constantly by commerce, society, social media, constant stimulation, trends, impulse, all these things that keep us at this lower vibrational frequency of living, right? When we tap into meditation and we tap into these mindfulness practices, what they show us is we can step away from all the noise. We can take a step back and we actually access this place of peace inside of us, and it feels really good. Like, tell me if you've ever had an experience in meditation or maybe doing yoga or maybe being out somewhere in nature and you just, oh, wow, you feel so good. You reach this place of tranquility, of peace, and you just want to be there all the time. You're like, I want to like bottle up this feeling and feel this all the time. and I've spent years now trying to figure out, what is that? What is it that when we're out in nature we feel so good, or we're maybe like on a hike on a mountain, or playing with our kids in the yard, or baking bread, whatever. And it's like, what is that? It's we're getting away from all the crap. We're like rooting into something real, something that actually is feeding our spirit and souls. Jonathan said all the time, yes, being in nature is heaven on earth. I couldn't agree more. I actually just I had to race down to send out the link to this video. I was up in a sheep pasture filming some sheep that got out of they were rotating the pastures and the sheep were running around. It was amazing. I can't wait to share the footage on my channel with you guys. But when we're out in nature, when we're disconnected, we have these feelings of like, wow, I feel great. I feel like this is how I'm supposed to feel all the time. This is how I want to feel. I feel like so alive. We might use words like that to describe it. And that's because we were not created as creatures of constant stimulation, constant noise coming at us from every which way, constantly being consumers. So this is where we start to switch from a mindset of consuming to a mindset of gratitude for what is already here and what we actually have within us to give the world. It's a complete and total shift, because society wants us to constantly just be consuming, mindlessly consuming, so that we don't have, one, critical thinking, two, a sense of stillness, to slow down enough to really think about, Why am I here? What makes me feel connected? What do I want to what path is my own unique journey leading me on? We need to slow way down in order to really understand who we are and where we're going and where this is all going. So that shift takes place when we start to strip away the things that are distracting us, the things that are creating unnecessary noise in our lives, actual noise and noise in our heads, things that are causing us to fall into the comparison game. So it's really all the things we talked about with digital devices, but now we're identifying them in our actual environments. What things in our actual environments, if we let go of them, would actually cause us to feel liberated? And what things around us can we send some more gratitude to those things that are actually enriching our lives, that are beautiful and valuable, and that actually make our lives better? Can we cultivate more gratitude for those things and send those things more gratitude? Because when we begin to sit with that thought, what is actually serving us in our lives? Because minimalism isn't just about getting rid of stuff. Like I said, it's about identifying the things in our lives that are actually, wow, that's so valuable. That's helping me learn and it's helping me grow. Those things. Sometimes it can be helpful to sit with these questions, journaling, if you're into journaling, making lists. These are things that are currently feeding my soul. These are questions I want to sit with, things I want to ask myself, things I want to ponder, like what do I want to let go of? What do I feel I'm outgrowing? What do I feel like I'm growing into? See, these are all the layers of a mindful minimalist practice that can help us so much in our daily practice. Minimalism isn't just about, oh, declutter your house, get rid of as much stuff as possible. It can be decluttering. It can be getting rid of some things that are no longer serving us. But one of the most important aspects is that reconnect with our environment, that reconnect with earth, with ourselves, with who we really are on a spiritual level. It can help us tap back into our own voice. So often we get lost in so much of the noise around us that we forget, like, what am I really doing? How do I want to clearly define my path? Where is this all taking me? What are some of the ways I want to grow? So when I began minimalism, I didn't really think about a lot of these things. I was very much focused on the aspects of decluttering, getting rid of as many things as possible, and often falling into the comparison game of, oh, that person has less things than I do. And you're almost like, it's no different than basing your identity off of owning a lot of stuff, basing your identity off of how few things you own. It's still, the emphasis is still on things. And that's what we want to do, is we want to take emphasis off of things, because that's one of the driving forces of society. I mean, multi-billion dollar industries exist off of keeping this desire for more and more and more and more stuff alive in us, so that we don't slow down and think about, like, wait, why are we here? What are we doing? What do I want from this life? What actually cultivates happiness inside of me? What actually fuels my fire? We're just too busy consuming to even think about it. So as we quiet our minds and step back and dwell on some of these questions, we can start to cultivate a really healthy relationship with minimalism. And I like to think of it as just like a tool in your toolkit for a mindfulness practice. A really important, beautiful method to help us further unplug from the matrix, disconnect from this rat race of constantly needing more and more and more to generate happiness or excitement in our lives. And when those things are stripped away, we start to tap into something deeper. We start to look inward more often. And it becomes more and more familiar looking inward and being still and being quiet and sitting in silence with ourselves, which can at first feel weird. Like, if you're not used to sitting in silence with yourself, it can feel strange to close down all the noise, shut off the devices, let go of some things that are no longer serving you, and really sit with yourself. But be gentle, be easy on yourself. Know that it's okay to feel uncomfortable or even scared. It can be like, okay, this is different feelings coming up, and that's okay. We can start to explore, who are we beyond all this stuff, Who are we really? And we can actually start to regain so much personal power from that. When we tap into who we are at our core, who we are at our essence, we start to really access so much personal power. And I really want to encourage you to pair this process with meditation, even if it's just 5 minutes in the morning or in the evening, whenever you have time, depending on your practice, using a little bit of meditation time to let some of these questions sit in your soul, to really ground, to really allow your spirit to guide you. And that's what I really want to counsel you guys to do, is let this process of unplugging be a spirit-led process. Let it be an emotional experience for you. Let it be a spiritual experience for you. It doesn't have to look like anyone else's experience. And I feel like, today we have so many like videos on YouTube and articles about like, oh, I quit my job and I moved out into the woods and I gave up all my things and now I live in a shed in the middle of nowhere. Like, whatever, it's fine. It's all cool, right? It could be cool to hear about other people's stories, but don't let it become a comparison game or something that you need to try to match someone else's story, because this is about you and where you're going. This is about your unique journey. And if you can unplug from the narrative of you need to be doing this, going this place, you need to be accumulating, you need to be constantly plugged in, let this be your time to unplug and to plug back into yourself and to really, 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 really listen to your own heart and soul, to really reconnect with who you are on a deep level. So as I practice minimalism, I've been doing practicing minimalism as like a method over the past, I think, 5 years or something like that. And I've reached this place now where it's finally, I'm like, oh, okay, this is really what the practice is supposed to be like. It's not supposed to be about comparison. It's not supposed to be about just, oh, I sold all my things and made a YouTube video about it. No, it's supposed to be a practice that helps you tap back into yourself, peel back all those onion layers of things that we identify with, things that we use as a facade to sort of hide behind, and really living from this place of authenticity. It's supposed to help us better express who we actually are. So I encourage you to ask yourself some of these questions and see where the journey takes you. See where the journey takes you. I was just noticing some of the comments Jessica said. That was me all vacationing in the White Mountains in New Hampshire. Wow, that's awesome. That is awesome. I have a hike upcoming doing Mount Washington. So that sounds really cool. I'm really excited to get into that area. Hi, Alea. Love you too. So much love to you guys. This is, these are exciting times. These are exciting times. I feel like there's so many interesting transitions happening in the world, and there's a lot of messy chaos. But, I think it's like a call to action for us to go deeper inside, to look deeper at the potential within us, to really, really, really think about what we're doing to feed our souls, to feed our spirits. What practices are we intentionally bringing into our daily lives to nourish us, mind, body, and spirit? Or are we just waking up in the morning and, reaching for our phone and scrolling and staying up late at night, watching TV, constantly consuming? What can we be doing to tap into a deeper level of awareness that's blossoming inside of us? I think so many of us feel this urgency to break into new levels of awareness, to feel more connected with ourselves and those around us, with earth, to feel connection with the land again, which is something that historically we're more disconnected now from the land than ever. So do something to get yourself connected with the land. Do something to get yourself connected with your soul, with the people immediately around you, with your family, with your friends, with your pets. All these things help us to journey deeper into what it means to be alive, to be human, to be here. So, as you delve into this topic of minimalism, I really want to encourage you to let go of the need to compare it to anyone else's experience and just let it be your own unique experience. Let it be something that's going to help you. Let it be something that is going to nourish your soul and help you discover the things in your life that are really adding value to your practice. And it can also be a beautiful invitation to let go of some things that are no longer serving you. It's a process. It's all a process. So take your time with it. Treat yourself with love and respect. And you just let this be a beautiful method that can help you reconnect to those around you. Can I answer a quick question from Alyssa? Yes, this video is going to be accessible inside of the Rewildest Life platform. And for everyone on this live stream, I'm actually going to send out a link as soon as we are wrapped up here so you can watch the replay. So the replay will be available. Jessica, thanks so much for the good luck wishes. I'm really looking forward to it. I think the views are going to be really stunning as long as the weather stays nice. So I'm really excited about that. Hello, greetings from Lithuania. That's awesome. Thank you so much for your kind words. I really appreciate it. But so tomorrow we're going to be going live again at 4:30. So I will be sending out a link to everyone subscribed to the Rewildest Life platform. If for some reason you're not subscribed, I will drop a link into the chat box here and you can subscribe and you'll be getting the emails so that you can join in tomorrow's live stream, which will be at 4:30. And we're going to be talking about going a little bit deeper into this non-consumerist mindset and some cool methods and things you can do to really deepen your reconnection practice. So I hope you guys got something out of this. If you want to drop any questions into the chat, we have a few minutes left to kind of just chat back and forth. If you have any questions that you want to ask about this reconnective journey, about minimalism, digital minimalism, anything that we've talked about so far. I'm really looking forward to our discussion over the next few days. We're going to be talking about some practical practices that you can bring into your life to really help you cultivate a deeper connection. Because sometimes when we talk about things like this, it sounds really conceptual, like, okay, yeah, that's great, reconnecting, but how do I bring that, into my everyday life? And that's something that it's funny because actually we were just filming today, like a couple different little reconnective practices you can do in nature. We were in the forest on a hiking trail and we just filmed a couple like quick little things I practiced ever since I was a kid that really help you to just ground and notice what's around you, tune into what's around you. And it's such a relaxing process and it's something you can do anywhere. So it's going to be 2 videos and they're I want to do them in the format of almost like a meditation, but it's actually going to be like you can use it as a meditation, but it's like kind of a follow along like little tutorial of how you can do these grounding practices in any outdoor space. So I'm really excited about that. That's going to be available in the Rewild This Life platform. So thank you guys so much. Thank you for being here. I send you all my love and light. I send you so much gratitude, and I wish you so much joy as you continue in your own unique rewilding journey. Namaste, my friends. The light in me acknowledges and reveres the light within you. I will see you again tomorrow.